show starts in 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
All right. What's up, Pittsburgh and Pittsburgh's DSEN listeners, as well as Steelers Nation and Pittsburgh sports fans? And I'm not sure, we might just have some sports fans in general that tunes into this particular show today, because we are having a special impromptu soul take on Saturday, January 24th, 2026, because there is big time news here in the city of Pittsburgh. It's big time news for the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's big time news in the sports world, in the NFL. We just had to come on live today to talk about what is going down. My name is Kevin Cameron. The guy that you just saw just enter the building.
What's going on?
It's Mr. Ken Craig. What's up, Ken?
What's going on, Kev?
Never thought you would be here today, huh?
Oh, man. I flew down the parkway to get here.
Yeah.
Sorry for anyone I cut off. But let's talk some Mike McCarthy.
Mike McCarthy. You're spoiling it already, man.
5-year deal.
I was building up to that. Also, on the phone with us, we have JT, Mr. James Taylor. What's up, JT?
What's going on, gentlemen?
The news is moving fast and furious.
And what might that be?
And that is, if you haven't heard, that the Pittsburgh Steelers will have a new head coach. They decided to move forward and hire based on what is being reported. Let me just say that. Even though it's being confirmed more and more, Mike McCarthy will be the next head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers.
And just to confirm, the Pittsburgh Steelers did tweet out that they have made a verbal offer.
Verbal. It's an offer.
Mm-hmm.
It's an offer, so that says it hasn't been executed yet.
Yeah, in the wording, we have verbally agreed for Mike McCarthy to become our next head coach.
Okay, so some details still need to be worked out. Okay, and what time was that tweet sent out there, Ken?
47 minutes ago.
47 minutes ago. And what we're going to do, everyone, we're going to open up the phone lines because we want to hear from you. Those on YouTube, you see the numbers already. However, those that might be on the radio stream, we need to give you those numbers so you can dial them up, or you could look on. Matter of fact, I'm not even sure. I don't think I even updated the website with that information. So, JT, do you have it?
Yes, sir. It's 412-213-8995 is the call-in number. 412-218-3888 is the text number. Like I always tell you, please don't call in on the text line.
Excellent. So let me refresh the system here to make sure that we'll get those phone calls that will be coming in. Let me start off here, fellas. I want each one of your opinions on this upcoming hire of Mike McCarthy. out of all the candidates, I think the Steelers had, if I could remember, the Steelers had 9 candidates going into this coaching hire. And out of the 9, I would say Mike McCarthy, for me anyway, might have been number 9.
Easily.
Yeah.
Well, out of 9, I think out of 9 for me, I think he's 11.
Okay. All right. So, I'm going to be honest, as I always am. I do not like the hire. And I'm one of the people that will tell you that I believe in the Rooneys.
You have, and I will second that because Kevin is the one on this show. And if you're familiar with our show, Kevin is the one who has consistently come out and said, I believe in the organization. I believe in the Rooneys. I believe they continue to put the team in a good spot. So I just wanted to back you up there because you do stand by the organization and as you do stand by the Rooney family.
Excellent. And I'll say this as well. You could believe in people, and I still believe in the Rooneys, but no one is 100% correct all the time. And during the season, when we pick games, when I pick against the Steelers, I always say, I hope I'm wrong. And here's another situation with this coaching hire that I'll say, I hope that I am wrong. Okay, Mike McCarthy is 62. Is he 62 years old right now? Okay.
Yes, yep.
Art Rooney II, the president and majority owner of the Pittsburgh Steelers, is 73 years old. And I mentioned, I believe, on Tuesday that I believe that's a factor in this process. Art Rooney II, in my opinion, I do not believe that he cares about having another coach go 10 to 20 years from a tenure standpoint. Okay. He's looking to bringing a coach where he feels that no training is needed to train a coach to be a head coach. Okay. And there were a few others, at least one or two others. I'm trying to think. Brian Flores. I need to bring up the list of candidates that the Steelers started with. But Brian Flores was a previous head coach, and then we had Mike McCarthy. And what? Who did you say? Shula wasn't a previous head coach, though, was he?
You said previous head coach?
Right.
Yeah, Brian Flores, Mike McCarthy.
I think that was
that was it.
That was it. In terms of former head coaches.
Former head coaches. Okay. And when you think about it, the short list, he only brought in Flores, McCarthy, and who's the other guy that used to be a Ravens?
Anthony Weaver. So those were the 3 that actually had in-person interviews, with Anthony Weaver and Flores having second interviews. And that's another, that's something else too.
A couple of those guys are still playing right now, though. The Rams coaches. So I think they just did a video interview with those guys for the first one.
No, JT. I'm just pointing out that the guys that had in-person interviews and second interviews. So
yeah, no, I'm just saying, just so people know that they couldn't do an in-person interview with those other ones because of they're still in the playoffs. So that's why they did the video interviews with those guys. That's all.
Well, yeah, they could have waited.
Yeah, they could have waited. Yeah, that's my point. They could have waited. And matter of fact, if the Rams lose tomorrow, they could have had an interview probably on Tuesday, realistically, given the weather. They probably could have brought those guys in on Tuesday. But and this is making my point too. They wanted an existent head coach. Okay. And let me turn my phone off here. Okay, sorry about that beeping. So yeah, that's my point. They wanted an existing head coach, someone that could hit the ground running is my read on it. But I'll throw it over to you, Ken, and then I'll throw it over to JT for for his opinion as well.
Yeah, I think that this is a very poor hire. I feel like.
And when did we hear that from a Pittsburgh? Are we talking Pittsburgh Pirates?
So that was going to be my point here. Was the one thing that we, I was born here, I was raised here. I'm a longtime fan, and now we cover the team. So we've always had pride in our coaching, right? We've always had pride. We've only had 3 coaches since the 60s, right? We've only had 3 coaches, and they're all winning. Like, we've stood on that pride. And I think what this hire did was it telegraphed their motive, right? They don't care about progress. They don't care about bringing someone in who may not have been a head coach before, but now, we're going to bring in someone in their mid-30s again. We're going to, let them build their team, and they don't care about progress. They don't care about 20 years down the road. They don't care about growing through pain. Steeler fans right now are begging for us to have a mid-season or two so we can restock our team. Steeler fans right now do not care about going 10-7 and losing in the first round of the playoffs anymore. But I think this hire, what it did was say, hey, we want to just stay the same. Right? Because McCarthy has only had 1 playoff win in 7 years. When you look at his record, he's basically the same as Tomlin. Tomlin was more winning or had more winning record in the regular season. So, in my opinion, right now, I think there's only one Pittsburgh sports franchise doing it correctly, and that's the Pittsburgh Penguins. They got rid of their longtime head coach, a winning head coach, brought in a first-time head coach who focuses on a lot of the very fundamentals of the game and got back to the fundamental piece of it. But it's just going against everything that we believe in and we have pride in about the Steelers coaches, right? And I don't want to hear anything about player development or quarterback development. He played with Dak and Aaron Rodgers. So I don't know if the Rooneys fear that a bad season will lower ticket sales, or I don't know. But I agree with you, Kev, that, maybe Rooney, he believes in his team so much that he thinks that they have all the pieces right now to Mike McCarthy can come in and build upon and take us to the promised land. I don't think so. I do not think so.
JT?
Yeah, that's a hard act to follow there, boy. My man sounds like Ken sounds like he ready to go down to the south side, boy.
I am, man. I am fired up.
I heard you get fired up in a minute.
We haven't been golfing in a few months. That's why.
Yeah, exactly. For others, it's a few days. But let's check this out. Mike McCarthy. I don't understand the hire either, Ken. And one of the reasons, what I see when I watch Mike McCarthy on the sidelines, I don't see anything. I don't see no emotion. I don't see nothing as far as, like, I'm going to play for this dude. You know what I'm saying? He just stands there, and I've never seen him try to rally his troops. And 62 years old, we're in an era though where we're not going to see. I don't think you'll see coaches with the longevity of a Mike Tomlin or a John Harbaugh anymore. because the game is changing so much, the times are changing so much that it calls for change more often. But Art Rooney, where I see the change is you hire guys like Sean McVay, Matt LaFleur. These guys are young, and these guys want to win. But for Steelers, I know Steelers fans are upset. And like Cav said, I'm an amazing Steelers fan. Amazing fan of the organization and the Roonies. And as upset as I may be about the hire, I'm going to give it a chance. But when you really couldn't win in the latter years with your Green Bay Packers and you couldn't win in the latter years with your Dallas Cowboys, shows me that you're more, what's the word I'm looking for, that you're not change. You're just consistent you're happy with consistency, just like Tomlin, ended up being. But we need somebody who's going to come in here and change the Steelers. And they're not young. They might be young here in a couple positions, but to me, they're not to the point where, I can't. I'm upset about it because I just don't know what to say either. Because I just think that the Roonies they're not looking to move ahead and build a dynasty again. Because you're not going to do that with Mike McCarthy.
All right.
So that's what like I said. It's just bad for me. And like I said, Ken hit it spot on. Like the Penguins brought in a new coach, and look what happened. It was like they changed overnight. They got younger, they got fresher, and they're winning more now. So
I have a note. I didn't want to interrupt King,
yeah, that's right.
But I disagree with that. You can't base the Penguins' small success on 60% of the season. It's about longevity. We've seen so many coaches, so many players have short-term success, but they're not able to maintain it. So I think the way Dan Muse for the Penguins started, I think is great. But we need to see. We need to just wait and see because we don't know yet. But we have our first caller on this special Soul Take that we're doing because we are reacting to the pending hire of the Steelers' next head coach, Mike McCarthy. Diva, how's it going, Diva? Okay, Diva, I can't hear you, so let me see if I need to adjust my
And by the way,
settings.
Ken, I still agree with you.
You still agree with Ken?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. Diva, are you there?
I'm here. Can you
Excellent.
hear me
We can hear you now.
Diva!
What's up, guys? What's up? I am calling. You guys sound real bad, real sad. I'm telling you. So, I'm calling with some questions for you all to answer. But I'm telling you, you guys are talking real negative, but
We're objective. Even though it's our team, we're objective.
that's fine.
Diva, you did hear me say I'm going to give it a chance.
You all sound real sad, but all I'm saying is the haters, the Tomlin haters.
There you go.
We're getting what they asked for. Tomlin
Preach.
out. Now we got a new
Preach.
coach, and you guys are basically saying that he is not up for the task. That we should have gotten somebody younger, somebody interested in building the team, et cetera, et cetera. So,
And on that note, I'm going to interrupt you real quick. Maybe that's a question we should ask because I brought this up previously about Art Rooney III. He has a right to be selfish. So was he selfish? Was he putting his interests ahead of all the other Steeler fans? What you think, Diva?
well, he's the owner,
Right.
so he's top dog. And
But he could be a servant leader, though.
well, listen, I think he said on one of the previous broadcasts that Art Rooney hates when we say that we're going to rebuild.
Right.
He wants to win every season. So, taking a knee down and not giving it all, he doesn't subscribe to that. So what I want to know from you guys is, if you say McCarthy is not the right guy, why not? And do we need to give him a chance? I mean, the Rooneys in the team, they hired him for a reason. I mean, they interviewed, 9, 10 guys, or, 9, 10 men, professionals. So what do you think McCarthy said, excuse me, I'm pronouncing his name wrong, but what do you think he said that got him the verbal offer? And what did the other guys not show that, they didn't get the offer?
I'll tell you what he said. Ask me. I'm Mike McCarthy. Ask me.
Kevin.
No, I'm Mike McCarthy. You're Art Rooney the second. Ask me. Ask me, Art.
Okay. McCarthy, what are you going to do for me to get me to the Super Bowl?
What I'm gonna first of all, I'm the right guy for.
I would have said that.
Hold on. I'm the right guy for this job. I'm from Pittsburgh. I'm from Greenfield. I've been growing up a Steeler fan since I was born. I know about the Pittsburgh Steelers. I know what the Pittsburgh Steelers are all about. I can get us back to the Super Bowl based on my record. If you look at my record, I can hit the ground running. I work with Aaron Rodgers already. We need to bring Aaron Rodgers back for another year, and we'll find a quarterback for the future. And we will get to the Super Bowl sooner versus later.
Well,
you didn't. Well, Kev, I'm gonna tell you one thing. You didn't persuade me. That was weak.
Well, it's about what Art Rooney the second was
I
persuaded.
understand that, but one thing I can say is, if you watch Mike McCarthy over, the last few years, outside of the this year right now, to me, when I watch from the sidelines, it looked to me like he lost his passion for coaching.
Who lost his
You know what I'm
passion?
saying? What's that?
Who lost their passion?
Mike McCarthy.
Well, Jerry Jones will do that. Jerry Jones will do that.
I understand that. And that's one of the reasons I don't know, man, you must have been sitting in my brain, because that's what I was about to say. Jerry Jones is a coach killer. And that is why I'm going to give Mike McCarthy a chance.
Not only that. Let's look at it this way, guys, too, and let's help answer Diva's question also. I think his name is Brian Schottenheimer, right? Okay, yeah. He's the head coach, and he's how old is Brian Schottenheimer?
Younger guy.
Okay, if you could look that up
47?
for me. Okay, Brian Schottenheimer used to be, if I'm not mistaken, Mike McCarthy's offense coordinator. So he took over as the head coach. This is a guy that had one of the best rosters in the NFL, has a franchise quarterback, had 2 number 1 wide receivers. Okay, had a good running game. So they had the talent and everything. They didn't have to trade Parsons to Green Bay, but the people that they brought in were good people. Okay, so they actually overcame that. But my point, with everything they had, they still didn't make the playoffs, right? And this is to your point, JT. Jerry Jones is a head coach killer. So you really have to throw out he probably, given that, he might have overachieved in Dallas. And let me give you all a comparison. Mike McCarthy, his overall record is very similar. I shouldn't say very similar. Mike McCarthy's coaching record, 174 wins in 18 seasons. Mike Tomlin had 193 wins. So, what is that? 19 more wins and 1 more season coached, because Mike Tomlin coached 19 seasons. So he had 19 more wins than Mike McCarthy. Okay.
With one team.
Exactly. McCarthy lost 112 games. Mike Tomlin lost 114 games. And they both, okay.
So by you giving this information, these stats, are you saying that the Steelers are just doing quite a, what is it? What is it? Just sticking with the same old status quo. That's what I was trying to say.
Very close. Now, those records that I gave are regular season records. Okay, because overall, Mike Tomlin had 201 wins overall, 126 losses, and 2 ties over 19 seasons. They both have a Super Bowl victory. Matter of fact, Mike McCarthy beat Mike Tomlin in a Super Bowl. Go ahead with Aaron Rodgers.
So if Aaron Rodgers is not our future, why would you say that the Steelers, or allude to that the Steelers brought in McCarthy because we're going to possibly have Aaron Rodgers for another year? But Aaron Rodgers isn't the future. So shouldn't you be looking at the future and bringing a coach that can get us to the Super Bowl and win versus the status quo?
Well, I think the Steelers are looking at the future. However, they're, as Ken said, they're not willing to have a bad season to try to achieve the future. Okay, we need to keep in mind the Steelers have 12 draft picks going into a 7-round draft. Okay, so they almost have double the number of draft picks for the draft. We never know. The Steelers might package some draft picks together, move up into the top 10, and pick a quarterback. Even though this quarterback draft did not meet the expectations going into the year, right? I think we could all agree with that. But they're trying to do both, to answer your question, Diva. They don't want to lose now in order to try to get better in the future. They want to do both.
All right, Mr. Kim, what you have to say about it?
I
Wow.
Yeah, I this is so far against what we typically do as an organization. It is just, I think a lot of Steeler fans, and I will speak for Steeler fans here, I think that they were excited for a new system, a new model, a new way of doing things, a new voice in the room. Maybe a little bit of innovation.
And their bubble got busted.
Yeah.
Their bubble got busted.
And a little bit of innovation. And my mind just races in these kind of situations, right? Like I go to, very maybe more like the cultural things that are included in this situation, right? It's you're replacing the longest tenured black head coach with this same version in a white version, right? Like I look at all of those things and I'm like, why aren't we looking for somebody new that brings a new voice and a new way of doing things? Are we seriously in a win now situation? Because the Steelers,
I'm telling you why. Ken is our running the third. He's 73 years old.
But is it like, are we gonna win now because the lease is up soon? All those
Rooney
things.
is 73 years old. He's not trying to bring a new head coach for training. Also, what we have to keep in mind, and I'm trying to go off the top of my head, I think when Bill Cowher came in here, the Steelers went something like, I'm not even going to quote the record. I want to say 12-4. Okay, but his first season was highly successful. Okay. Mike Tomlin's first season was highly successful as well from a win-loss standpoint. Okay, so bringing in a new coach isn't saying that he couldn't have done the same thing, right? But do you want to take that risk? And I think Art Rooney II just felt more comfortable bringing someone who did that previously. I mean, this is huge, everyone. Check this out. As we talk about this situation, as Ken said, this is out of the norm as far as what the Steelers, the way the Steelers operate. Since 1969, the Steelers only had 3 coaches. This is coach number 4. Their motto, their profile for the type of coach that they bring in was not followed. Okay, it wasn't a defensive coach. It wasn't a coach in his 30s. Those were the last 3 coaches. This is a coach that's been to 2 other teams.
Yep. He's a retread.
Been to 2 other teams, and not only been to 2 other teams, he's 11-11 in the playoffs, and he has a Super Bowl win. Okay? Now, that opens up a lot of risk from a ownership standpoint, because if it doesn't work, people can always say, you didn't follow the profile that made this franchise successful. So I think there's a lot of risk on, or a lot of pressure, I should say, on Art Rooney II. And over on the South Side, they like to say, we don't care about the outside noise. But I'm telling you right now, if this does not work, people will say you all had a blueprint for successful head coaches and you did not follow the blueprint.
Absolutely. And, even from what I'm reading and what I'm seeing, like this isn't, a lot of people separated Rooney and Tomlin. Mm-hmm. They were in line with decision making. Don't get me wrong there, but it was Tomlin's team, right? I mean, we all knew that. And I agree with you that there's a lot of risk there, because now this is Rooney's decision, right? Mm-hmm. This is Rooney's decision. Mm-hmm. So I agree with you 100% there. I just felt like this was a very lazy decision.
Wow. Let's do this, Diva. We are up against a break. We're actually 4 minutes late. Go ahead real quick.
All right, just real quick. If you guys can talk about what players do you think will be defectors going forward? And I mean, I don't even know if that's something that they can do, but will there be players that will decide Tomlin's out, so they're out?
Okay, good question. So we'll cover that on, we'll let you go, and we'll cover that on the opposite side of the break.
All right, thank you guys. Appreciate it. Stay
thank
safe
you.
From this storm that's coming.
All right, you too.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am, Diva.
All right, thank you. Bye-bye.
Yep, bye. All right, so again, we are doing a special Soul Tape today on Saturday, January 24th, 2026, right before a historic snowfall that we're expecting. So the Steelers made a historic decision today.
The storm came already in the storm. The storm is already here. That's what we're talking about. Hey, Ken, don't you think they ought to get Diva over there on the South Side, man, and that coaching staff?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So what we'll do, fellas, we'll go ahead and take our first and only break. And when we come back, this is going to be a short break as well, fellas. Okay. But when we come back, we'll pick up the conversation. Here we go.
Pittsburgh, it's an old school party. Yes, each Saturday we throw it back with some of the best old school music, funk, R&B, old school, rap, hip hop, and all the jams that make you move and dance. Yes, check it out. Each Saturday, right here on Pittsburgh's DSEN, all the old school jams, 6 to 11 p.m.
Pittsburgh, have you seen our Sunday radio schedule? Ooh, it is lit. Start the day off with our Sunday gospel music from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. It will inspire you and have you praising the Lord. Then from 3 to 8 p.m., we bring you Sunday jazz melody for all the jazz lovers. Then cap off the night with the Quiet Storm from 8 to 11 p.m. to hear the best smooth, romantic, and soulful R&B sounds of yesterday and today. All that each Sunday on Pittsburgh's DSEN, the place for soul.
All right, we are back. This is Soul Take on Pittsburgh's DSEN. This is a special Soul Take today, given the news that broke a couple hours ago, 2-3 hours ago, regarding the Pittsburgh Steelers, the historic NFL franchise, hiring their fourth head coach since 1969. And they did not follow their blueprint that we just got done talking about with the type of coach that they decided to hire. Mike McCarthy will be the Pittsburgh Steelers' new head coach. The profile that the Steelers were known for was to bring in a 30-something-year-old head coach, a defensive-minded head coach, someone for their future, a leader. Okay, and Mike McCarthy doesn't fit that profile. You know, he's basically almost double the age at 62 versus the 30-somethings that walked through the door previously. I hope he's a leader. I would think he's a leader. So he met that one. What side of the ball is he on? Is he more offensive minded? He's more offensive minded, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he's labeled as an offensive minded head coach.
Right.
Absolutely.
And he's caught plays in the past as well, if I'm not mistaken.
That is correct.
Yeah.
And I know, and I don't want to make light of
and my name is Kevin Cameron. That's Ken Craig, and JT, James Taylor, is on the phone.
And I don't want to make light of the connection between our GM, Omar Khan, and Mike McCarthy that go back to their days in New Orleans, if I'm correct.
Right. Mm-hmm. I know that's part of it.
Yeah. So there's definitely a connection, and I believe Andy White was there too. So I don't want to make light of that connection. There's definitely, obviously connection there. There's connection to Pittsburgh with Mike McCarthy growing up in Greenfield. I know it's Greenfield. It's, it's not the Quip.
They're happy, right? No, it's not the Quip. It's not the Quip. That would be a whole different story.
But
they're happy, right? The Greenfield people are happy. They're probably having all kind of parties tonight.
We'll have to check in there.
Yeah.
They're already hammered. They were hammered when they woke up this morning.
Maybe we should have had this show at a remote location in Greenfield. Because I'm pretty sure. And they
sure about that.
Well, they should party. They should party. So congratulations, Greenfield. But as I've always said, it's all about results for me. It's all about, and Ken, just to go back to what you were saying, and I didn't want to slow your roll. You mentioned the Penguins doing it the right way. I addressed that.
Yeah, I just want to make a comment on that. I don't think it's necessarily about the winning, right? Because the Pens are winning, yeah, but I think it's this synergy you bring back. Right, I think it's the excitement that you build and the fan, the culture that you rebuild.
Yeah, but it's still short term. That's why I said the jury's still out on the Penguins.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not discounting that. Yeah, I mean, we could go 3 losing seasons and then it didn't work out. Absolutely, but what it did was it sparked something new.
Yeah,
right. And
they got the buzz going again, Ken. You're correct. You're 100% correct.
And let me say something about the Penguins as well that a lot of people probably don't want to hear, but, anytime you have new owners, you're subjective to a lot of changes. I hope it doesn't happen. The Penguins deserve to stay here in Pittsburgh, but there's a lot of financial things that need to be ironed out. We know they filed bankruptcy previously. Was it 1 or 2 times, Ken?
Yeah, it was twice.
Yeah. So let's keep that in the back of our minds as well, because with new ownership, you never know what will happen. Yeah. But the other part too, Ken, you mentioned something about the Rooneys aren't willing to have a bad season or two, and the Steeler fans prefer to have a bad season or two. I don't. I want to win every year, because when you have those bad, just like you said, Ken, about the Penguins, what you were referring to, how people, how did you put it? People are more motivated and excited.
Yeah, there's more synergy. I mean, the culture changes. The fans get excited to see new players coming in. Absolutely.
So my point in asking you that, winning or losing is contagious, right? And you mentioned culture also, okay? When you have a winning culture, you need to keep that winning culture, because when you lose, okay, it could go the other way quick. And I've said before, be careful what you ask for. I just left the Pitt basketball game, okay? And I didn't stick around for the post-game interviews. Pitt lost to North Carolina State. Pitt right now is 8-12. And we talked about this. Ever since Jamie Dixon left in 2016, 17, whenever it was, Pitt has never recovered. And we've all said it. Be careful what you ask for. But, I don't want to have bad seasons. I think there's different ways you could get it done. And a lot of people try to bring up New England. Google New England's record for the last 6 years and let me know if they had losing records or winning records during that time. JT?
Yes, sir.
And we're still taking your phone calls, everyone. 412-213-8995, or you could text us 412-218-3888. And this is a special edition of Soul Tape because we felt we needed to talk about this decision to bring Mike McCarthy on as the next head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I know the majority of the people that will watch this show will probably watch the recorded version. So if you do watch the recorded version, text us and let us know how you feel about this pending hire. Okay, JT, did you have something?
No, like I said, I'm listening to Ken because he got me fired up now.
All right. So, given that, I think Diva asked a question, right? Before she hung up, she asked a question about the players. How will this affect the players? Will the players say, okay, given is Mike McCarthy, I'm done. And let me start off by saying this. I don't know if Aaron Rodgers is coming back. But if I had to bet on it, I would say he's coming back. Not only would I say he's coming back, I think the shoe's on the other foot, if you understand what I'm saying. How you had the Steeler veterans like TJ Watt and Cam Hayward was pretty much asking for Aaron Rodgers to come on board, stop waiting around. What are you waiting for? Come on. If you're going to do it, let's do it. We would love to have you. I think the shoe's on the other foot. I think Aaron Rodgers is probably right now making phone calls to tell Cam, come on, Cam, you could do one more year. Mike McCarthy, he's a great coach. You'll love him. You could do one more year. TJ Watt, you're in a contract. Please don't ask for a trade. Please come back one more year. I think those type of conversations are happening.
From Rodgers?
Yeah, from Aaron Rodgers.
I don't know. I thought when there was that split at the, I know, Rodgers has always said decent things about McCarthy after he left, but I felt like there was definitely a split there at the end of his time in Green Bay. Let
me tell you something.
Because there was some words said when he left.
Maybe, but he has since then. Time can change things.
Sure.
And I tell people all the time, I don't care who you are. You're going to have disagreements. You're going to have disagreements with your parents. You're going to have disagreements with your wife. So they can have disagreements, professional disagreements as well. Okay. But I do believe that Aaron Rodgers could possibly be trying to pull those players in to say, come on, let's give Mike McCarthy a try. Oh, I know something else I wanted to say, Ken. Pat McAfee. How do you feel Pat McAfee is feeling now? And the reason I'm saying that, everyone, Pat McAfee might be saying, yo, if you want a job with the Pittsburgh Steelers, just come on my show. Just come on my show. Aaron Rodgers, how long was he on the Pat McAfee show?
Yeah.
4 years at least? 4 to 5 years?
I know it was definitely 2. It was the whole time he was at New York. I know that.
He became, all right, the starting quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers. You had Mike McCarthy, who's recently been on the Pat McAfee. Now he's the head coach. You know who else is part of the Pat McAfee show?
Who's that?
Bruce Arians.
Yep.
The Steelers' former offensive coordinator and Super Bowl head coach. Okay, when he coached, who did he win the Super Bowl with? Arizona?
Mm-hmm.
Well, no.
That was Tampa Bay. Yeah, Tampa Bay.
The wrong red team.
Yeah.
The other red team, Tampa Bay. Yeah. So hey, Pat McAfee, he should be pounding his chest right now. Yeah, I'm from the Bird, and if you want a job with the Pittsburgh Steelers, you need to come on my show. You know, that's a huge recruiting tool, if you ask me. Not that he needs the help, you know, with recruiting people to come on this show, because he doesn't need the help. All right, everyone. Again, if you would like to call in, 412-213-8995. We have roughly about 10 minutes left on this special edition of Soul Tape. If you're watching the recording, 412-218-3888 is the text number. Text number 412-218-3888. Once the recording is out, we would love to get your text on your opinion. Do you like the pending head coach decision that the Steelers made? Mike McCarthy, the former Dallas Cowboy and Green Bay Packers head coach. Now, okay, do you have any players before we move on that might bail as a result of this?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'd have to put some thought into it. I think Aaron Rodgers isn't coming back now.
You don't think he's coming back?
No.
Okay. Mm-mm. Okay. JT, your thoughts?
I mean, I don't think that's going to be a career-altering decision, number one, because before the coach, people want money. So, I mean, it's a business, as we know. You got to deal with, you got to deal with it. But I don't think there's too much emphasis on McCarthy being the coach that'll weigh on the player whether to stay or go.
Okay.
If they're going to go, I think their mind's been made up already, even before the McCarthy verbal.
Does Aaron Rodgers come back?
No.
No? Okay. So it's 2-1. Got it. The general sentiment for the fans, is it what you just said? What would you say, Ken? General sentiment right now.
From fans?
Yeah.
Angry, disappointed, caught off guard, shock. Yeah, I think that.
Bamboozled.
Yeah, bamboozled. I think that, this was a lot of people. This is their first time seeing a head coaching search for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Mm-hmm. I know for us, it was, our second, third time seeing it. But I think that they expected maybe something different. When his name was brought up in the pipeline of coaches, a lot of them thought, okay, he's a local guy. Maybe it's an interview out of kind of respect, or to kind of just pick his mind a little bit. I don't think anyone really thought he had a chance. Now, the people close to the team, I know, as the time went on, it started to leak out that, hey, he's kind of the top runner. But let's wait until they meet with the guys from the Rams. And, was
that a derelict a duty or responsibility?
What do you mean?
To not wait for the Rams coaches?
I Well, I think it's
Chris Shula, the defense coordinator, and Nate Shillhouse, the passing game coordinator.
I just don't understand why they didn't.
I got it, but do you think it was a derelict of duty?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I definitely do. I think, one, you're not exhausting your efforts to find the best possible coach for the position, unless you have your mind made up and that's what you want to do. I mean, it's their decision, not ours. But I know that fans are not happy right now. I mean, you know, just between the callers, when I was driving in here, the people posting to my social media, to all the other fans are not happy.
Okay. Is that like a 70-30 or 80-20?
I'm saying 90-10.
90-10.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So the 10% is Greenfield.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and it's all the people that were out there chanting, fire Tomlin.
Yeah.
That's who's in my mind right now.
I've been saying this, it's a slippery slope. It's Tomlin. It was Tomlin a few weeks ago. What do the Steelers fans do next if there's not winning? And you know what I'm afraid of? What I'm really afraid of? They disrespected Tomlin. I said it before. I don't want to see them disrespect the Rooneys. But it's coming if they don't win. It's coming. You know, we've heard chants about sell the team for the Pirates.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this year we heard fire Tomlin, they boo Renegade. That might be next, fellas.
Well, it will be. And, you know, unfortunately.
And I hate to say it, but that's the direction I see things going.
Well, and you look at it like, was the previous Rooney ownerships, did they do things in a selfish manner? Or did they put the city first? Right? And I'm saying fan base, not...
Right.
Did they make a decision based on how long I have left to win a championship? Or, hey, let's make sure this team is set up for the future.
Yeah.
Right? Like just those, or going against everything that we stand for, that the team has sold out every single game.
Yeah.
Fans show up because we have a standard, and then we just say, hey, let's break that standard.
And when I say what I said, I'm not saying that it's right, because I wouldn't believe that it's right. I'm just giving my opinion from a standpoint where I see things could go. And I don't want to see things go that way. But, you know, it's just like the country. And I'm not going to get into politics, but there's a lot of things that's not going the right way there as well. And I hate to see that. Okay. I think there's some things that the Rooneys need to change, and we need to keep an eye out on if they'll change these things I'm talking about, coaching staff that I brought up before. Okay, they're at the bottom of the league when it comes to paying the coaches and the number of coaches. And I believe the scouting area is the same thing. Also, there's the selection of those coaches. I think, you know, the head coach needs to have the total ability to do that. And I think the Steelers need to pay market rate. As I said before, the Steelers should have the best of everything.
Yeah, and you know, how many people has this Rooney hired? How many head coaches?
Well, he's 73 years old.
How many times?
So he didn't do Noel. His dad probably did Cowher. I would say he did Tomlin. That's off the top of my head.
You think he did? Did he?
I think he did Tomlin.
No,
I think he did Tomlin.
Okay.
But again, I could be wrong. Now, there's been some talk as well. That's a great question, Ken. There's been some talk as well about Dan Rooney Jr. You know, how involved is Dan Rooney Jr.? You know, powerful people believe in loyalty. Okay? And it might be a situation where, Dan Rooney Jr., he was involved, but because of his loyalty, he went along with this plan. I don't know if that's the case, but it wouldn't surprise me. Okay? It wouldn't surprise me that Art Rooney II said, Dan Jr., I'm going to make this decision, and then after I make this decision, it's going to be yours. I can see that happening. Okay? So we have like 3 minutes left. Did you have something else, Ken?
No, I was just, I mentioned, some things that you kind of start to connect the dots about, and I hope that this hire just has nothing to do with, the state funding, with Governor Shapiro coming out and saying that there's not going to be any, additional funding due to constraints from the president. I feel like there might be some things there that they made, a rash decision. I don't think that win now is always going to create the change that you want, right? I hope that the team buys into this. I hope it all goes well for the team. But I know from the fan side, I think that the team, they're professionals, right? No one's going to be like, I'm not playing for this coach. But I think the fans are who are the most disappointed right now.
Let me give you something else to watch out for. Okay? And I'm going to Google it before I throw it over. I'm going to Google it once I throw it over to JT for his final comments here. I used to be a season ticket holder. I was a season ticket holder for 20 years. Mm-hmm. After every year, I wondered if there would be a price increase. The tickets cost a lot of money.
Yes,
man.
they do. Yes, they do.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if the Steelers raise ticket prices. I hope they don't piss the fans off the way the Pirates piss fans off.
That's just kind of where I'm going, because I know, and this year Governor Shapiro mentioned that state funding for the NFL stadiums, including the Steelers and Eagles, is unlikely due to budget constraints, due to it being cut off by the president. I know that's...
Got it. Yep.
You know what I mean?
Got it. All right, JT, your final comment.
Yeah. Well, something we didn't talk about on the show today, that I'll tell you where one of my biggest concerns lies with this hire, is with a number of teams already, getting their head coaches within the past week or two to fill that void. What? You can tell me if this concerns either of you guys too. With new coaches coming in on different teams and, getting their staff together, what level of coordinators are going to be out there that will really, take the Steelers to the next level? Because a lot of these coaches have already started filling the voids in their offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator. What level of coordinators will be out there that will make you feel good as well? If you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah. And I know Mike McCarthy has worked with some bigger names, in terms of coordinators.
Yeah, right. And I think the coordinators will be available. I'm not even sure about Nate Skillhouse. Skillhouse, he could still be available, but just from a coordinator standpoint.
But you got to remember, too, what you're talking about, and, it's been talked about in the past, that the Steelers don't shell out the money for...
That's what I was talking about. Yeah. That's what I was saying. Hopefully they'll make those changes that they need to make. Okay? Because like I said, I never want a losing season. We need to see what we'll do in the draft. Maybe we'll package some draft picks together and get in the top 10 if we need to, if the right quarterback is there, and get a quarterback. Or maybe we don't go after a quarterback, try to go after other skill positions and try to get the quarterback the following year, or maybe the quarterback comes through free agency. We just have to.
If you think they piss Steeler fans off with that, like you said, just what you were just talking about, and wait another year to go after a quarterback. So if you do that, now you're pushing the organization back more than 2 years.
Not necessarily. I mean, we reached. Hold on. We reached with Kenny Pickett, and you see where it got us. If he's not there, wait. If the quarterback is not there, you just don't pick a quarterback just to pick a quarterback. Is what I'm saying.
Well, you need to come in and groom this guy, Will Howard. So
who?
Will Howard.
Why you say who?
He's taking us to the promised land.
Yeah, he's not the answer.
But how do you know?
He's not.
Let me ask you that, Kev. How do you know?
It's my opinion. He's not there. That's my opinion. We make opinions all the time on the show. In addition to that, I see the guy in practice, and he just doesn't have it. I sat here and said the same thing about Justin Fields when everybody was talking about they wanted Justin Fields. Before Justin Fields played one game, I said Justin Fields is a backup quarterback.
I was with you on that.
I said the same thing about Shedeur Sanders. A lot of people wanted the Steelers to draft Shedeur Sanders. I like Shedeur Sanders. I love his dad as well. But I'm being objective. Shedeur Sanders is a backup quarterback. And I know it's not a popular opinion in a lot of circles, but those are my opinions. Did I answer your question, JT?
JT, he hung up on you.
All right. No, you didn't answer my question, but like I said, I still think you got. I guarantee you, like Tom Brady was a 6th-round pick.
Yeah.
Brock Purdy was Mr. Irrelevant.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you, when they brought Brock Purdy on, people were like, "Oh my God, they're bringing in this Mr. Irrelevant." I guarantee you.
Well, I'm talking about me. I sat here as well the first time I saw Mason Heisel, the quarterback for Pitt, throw a ball. I said, this guy's going to be really good. Okay? So when I get to actually put eyes on people, okay, that's what I'm basing my opinion on. I couldn't base my opinion on a Brady or a Purdy. I'm basing my opinion on what I actually see. And that's why I feel so confident. And I guess there's one exception. I contradicted myself with Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have the opportunity to actually see Shedeur Sanders.
Well, if there's some silver lining here.
Outside of when he played against the Steelers, which is a different story.
And JT, this is kind of to your point. If there's a silver lining here, this head coach, Mike McCarthy, he's grown up as a offensive coordinator, as a QB's coach, all the way back
to the experience.
All the way back to the University of Pittsburgh, where he was a quarterback's coach.
Hold on, he coached for Pitt?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, 1992, his wide receivers coach.
Okay.
91 was a quarterback's coach.
I like that.
Yeah, he spent 4 years before going to the NFL.
And the last head coach we had that grew up in Pittsburgh did pretty good, didn't he?
Yeah, he did all right.
Yeah.
But if there's anybody out there that will be able to get our quarterbacks who are currently on our roster, he is one of those people that will, get our current quarterbacks up to par at least. So maybe was a big selling point to the Rooney family, that Mike McCarthy can come in and work with the current roster we have.
He does have a good track record from a quarterback standpoint. We will give him that. Yeah. So JT, go ahead and wrap it up. 30 seconds, please, as well as your final take on this coach.
Well, once again, I want to thank everybody who tuned in today. Outside of our regular show, we appreciate you very much. Thank you to the subscribers on YouTube. And, I need for everyone to be careful. If you ain't got to go out after the night, from what they're saying, don't go out. Don't take the chance. Stay at home with your loved ones. Call your loved ones. Check on them, especially the older ones. And like I said, if you see somebody that does not have a good day, smile, speak to them. It might change their day because we don't know what everybody's going through. But God bless you. Thanks for the love.
All right, Kent.
Yeah, no, I want to appreciate everyone for stepping in for our emergency show here. Everyone drive safely, and someone on the in the chat had made a good point that, hey, look at the bright side. Maybe it'll start to be affordable to go to games now. I kid. But you know, we're going to be covering a lot of our new head coach, Mike McCarthy. Even though we don't agree with it, hey, it is what it is, and we are going to cover it the same way, if not maybe a little bit more harder. So stick around, continue to show up to our show, and please, a free way to support our show is by subscribing.
All right, everyone. This has been a special Soul Take, as mentioned, because of the historic news coming out of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Mike McCarthy, as we mentioned, is expected to be the next head coach, the fourth head coach for the Pittsburgh Steelers since 1969. And we understand there's a verbal agreement in place. So thanks for tuning into the show. And I would like to say as well, for those that will watch the recording, text us and let us know your opinion on the expected hire. I didn't like it. I don't like it, but it's one of those situations where I hope I'm wrong. I was wrong about Aaron Rodgers. I hope I'm wrong here. Okay. Also, today, Pittsburgh's DSEN went over 48,000 subscribers on YouTube.
Thank you.
So thank all of you out there on YouTube. We truly hope that you enjoy our content. We'll continue to put good Pittsburgh sports content out there, as well as we started to put other entertainment shows and entertainment activity out there as well. So please continue to engage with Pittsburgh's DSEN, not just on YouTube, but also on the radio side as well. PGHDSEN.com. We're going to go ahead and sign off. And as we sign off, I would like to say join us on Tuesday for Soul Take. We'll be right back here, 6 to 8 p.m. Everyone, please take care of yourself with all this weather coming, and take care of your loved ones as well. Take care.